Stories from Reddit. Story 1. AITA for purposely stopping my classmate from winning an award and subsequently making her cry. So, I'm 17, and let's just say I've had a rough go of it. Back when I was 13, I was in a cycling accident that left me with these gnarly facial scars, and ever since then, I've been getting bullied like crazy. People call me tall, ugly, and intimidating, which, okay, rude. It's gotten to the point where guys use me as a punchline, like, hey, why don't you just hook up with my name? I'm used to it, but it still stings, you know. But then there's this girl, Beck. I've known her since middle school, and up until recently, I had a major crush on her. I thought she was genuinely sweet and amazing. My family is super supportive, so they pushed me to ask her out. I even learned a song on guitar for her, went to the next town over to get her favorite chocolates, the works. This was the first time I felt like I could really put myself out there and ask someone out. I figured that even if she didn't like me back, she'd at least see me for who I am and accept me as a friend. So I was over the moon when she said yes. We went to a fancy restaurant, had a great time, and even took a walk for like half an hour. She was so sweet to me, and the next week was heaven. People started noticing me, and even her friends were cool with me. I was crying tears of joy every day because I felt so lucky to get so much love. But then the bubble burst. A friend of Beck's, who follows her on Instagram, sent me some screenshots, and I felt totally betrayed and disgusted. She had posted stuff like, fulfilled his lifelong wish by being his Valentine, making his day by finally helping him interact with my friends, and, get this, #uglypeoplematter. Double quotes Beck single quotes S friend explained that she was just trying to build a good social media image and wanted to win some stupid positive role model award for her college application. Because she was falling behind on community service, she figured playing with my feelings for a few days wouldn't hurt, and since I was ugly, she was doing me a favor by giving me attention anyway. I was in tears and felt completely disgusted. My blood was boiling, so I did some digging and found a Facebook page about this award. I contacted the authorities to confirm her name was on the nominations list and set up an alibi with my friends at work and family. Turns out, she was nominated, so I contacted the committee with the screenshots, and they yanked her nomination. Now she's crying a lot, and I'm even more ostracized at school. But honestly, I have no remorse whatsoever and feel way more satisfied. So, AITA. Stories from Reddit. Story 2. I found out why my husband hides his best friend from me. I'm a 26-year-old woman, and I've been married to my husband, Dylan, who's also 26, for 3 years. We've been together since we were 17, but we've known each other since the 4th grade. I love my husband. He's the total package, funny, sweet, smart, and attractive. He's made my life amazing, and I always thought I'd spend the rest of my life with him. We went to all the same schools growing up, and we've both made our own friend groups. He's been more connected with his friends than I have, so I've become part of that group too, I think. I've been to maybe half of their hangouts, mostly because of my job, but sometimes I just don't get invited. I never questioned it, because, hey, they're his friends, and he doesn't see them as much as he sees me. It's not my business. My husband has this best friend, Coro, who's 27. I knew almost nothing about Coro until recently. He wasn't at our wedding, didn't go to the same schools as us, and I thought he wasn't friends with anyone in our group. I figured it was because of his job. I was told he traveled a lot, but last year, we went to a barbecue at another couple's house, and Coro was there. I didn't recognize him at first, but when I realized who he was, I was shocked. I had seen him before, but he always kept his distance, which I now realize was intentional. Anyway, he's totally stunning. He looks like he could be a supermodel. When I tried to talk to him, he seemed really nervous and shut me down after a few sentences. When I mentioned this to anyone else, they shut me down too, saying, "That's just how he is," or "Maybe you said something that offended him." Basically, nobody would tell me anything about Coro. Any conversation about him was off-limits. At the end of the night, I asked Dylan about his behavior. He told me Coro didn't like me because I cheated on Dylan once in college, and Coro was too stubborn to let it go. I've seen Coro less than a dozen times since then, mostly at parties and get-togethers, and once he came to our house to watch a football game with Dylan and some other guys. A few weeks ago, my husband went fishing with his cousin. That same night, I had the girls over for a girls' night. Lily was scrolling through social media, and I saw a selfie of Dylan and Coro in a hot tub. It had been posted like 30 minutes ago. I asked Lily about it, and she went pale. She tried to play dumb, but I snatched the phone and went to the profile that posted it. It was my husband's. It was a private profile, and most of the photos were dirty jokes or memes, but the rest were photos of him and Coro. They were either hanging out alone or with the rest of the group, minus me. And the photos seemed way too close, too touchy, too intimate for just friends. I spent like 10 minutes looking before I couldn't take it anymore. I was horrified. All the photos were dated to nights my husband told me he was working late, hanging out with family, or doing something else. Times I wasn't invited. Lily just sat there looking dumb. She didn't say anything, but all the girls were looking at us like a bomb had just gone off. They clearly knew what I had seen, and their reactions confirmed what I was afraid of. I was livid. I started yelling. Lily was crying, and the rest of the girls were freaking out. When I calmed down and demanded an explanation, Lily told me everything. Dylan and Coro had been sleeping together and basically dating behind my back since before we even got married. They got together during a 1-month break Dylan and I had in college, and they'd been together ever since. They all knew, and none of them told me until I found out the hard way. Coro wasn't at our wedding because he felt guilty. He avoided me because he felt guilty. They arranged group meetups in a group chat I wasn't in because they all liked Coro enough to spare his feelings. Even the guys felt the same way. Coro wasn't distant. He was just being hidden. Dylan was hiding him because he didn't want me to find out they were together. By the end of it, half of us were sobbing, and everyone else was apologizing. I was so angry. I made them swear they wouldn't say anything to Dylan or anyone else. I kicked them out and cried myself to sleep, like it was some sick joke. My husband didn't come home until the next morning. He told me all about his fishing trip. I didn't say anything about what I knew. He could tell something was up, because he kept asking what was wrong. Eventually, I just told him I'd been in an argument with my sister. By the end of the week, I was numb. Last night, while my husband was handing out candy to trick-or-treaters, I saw a notification pop up on his phone. I knew his password, so I opened it. It was a text from Coro. I looked through their conversations, and it confirmed everything. It was devastating. Dylan texted Coro the exact same way he texted me. He told Coro he loved him. Every sweet thing he said to me, he'd said to Coro. I was hardly mentioned. I put his phone back before he noticed. Dylan is at work now. I don't know what to do. I can't imagine leaving Dylan, because he's such a loving partner and a good man. But I can't win in a competition against Coro, if that's what it comes down to. I can't even be disgusted or angered by Dylan. I love him too much. I'm not even upset with Coro, but I'm so hurt. I don't want to risk losing my husband, and I don't want to share him. I called Lily and my sister and told them what I found. They both asked what I'm going to do, and I have no idea. So, what do I do? Stories from Reddit. Story 3. AITA 4 throwing a cup of cold water on my naked husband. Okay, so my husband has been tested for ADHD, but he doesn't have it. But he has the kinds of problems that are associated with ADHD. He says writing lists, making a schedule, setting alarms, all that is physically painful for him. He'd rather just deal with occasional emergencies than be proactive. The specific problem is that he often forgets to push the shower diverter valve down. You know, the little rod on the tub faucet that you push down to make water fill the tub and pull up to make the water come out of the shower. For nearly 20 freaking years, I have been asking him to push that thing down. Since I was a teenager, I've been asking him. At least twice a month, I get a cold shower because I turn the water on and get a cold spray from the shower head. And every damn time, he's apologetic. And then a week or two later, it happens again. He'll do better for a while, and then it slips again. He's always telling me that he's working on it, and hasn't he been better about it lately? But somehow he's always working on it, always improving, but it never stops. Today, I'd just had it. I stepped into the shower, turned it on, and had a very cold and rude awakening. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed the cup by the sink, filled it about 3 inches with cold water, and walked out to where he was standing naked. He had just taken off his pajamas and was going to take his shower after mine. Without warning, while he was looking down, I held that plastic cup firmly in my hand and, grasping it tightly, I jerked that mother bleep in a 45-degree angle to get the cold water all over his torso and face. I told him that his apologies were worth the paper they were written on, and I was tired of listening to him congratulate himself for getting better when I had been asking for 20 damn years to stop doing this bleep. I told him I don't accept his apologies, and the fact that it's an accident doesn't excuse it. I told him that from now on, every time I'm taking a cold shower, so will he, and I refuse to be a second-class citizen in my own home any longer. And if he refuses to make any changes to treat me better, I will instead make changes to treat him worse, because I will not tolerate this anymore. I'm going to continue to surprise throw a cold cup of water on him every time I get a surprise cold shower. I'm tired of asking, begging for basic bleep respect and not getting it, with the implication that I have to bleep put up with this forever. So, Reddit, I know I'm probably an asshole, but am I a justified asshole? Stories from Reddit. Story 4. AITA 4. Thinking about divorcing my wife after she drunkenly exposed me to our group of friends. Guys, I literally don't know what to do after this weekend. I'm posting from a burner account because I'm connected with a lot of friends and family on my main account. The issue happened Saturday night. We had our friend group over, 6 couples, and we were hosting at our house. The night was progressing pretty normally. We had dinner, and we were just hanging on the couches chatting. Everyone had been drinking, so we were all pretty comfy. My wife, Amy, was talking with one of the other girls about my new job. I recently got a promotion that comes with a nice raise. The downside is that I have to travel a decent amount, up to 2 weeks a month, but only 3 to 4 days at a time at most. We were excited for the changes the extra income will provide, so the travel was something we agreed was worth it. As they were chatting, her friend Pamela was talking about how they make it work since her husband also travels a lot. The conversation was helpful, honestly, until this happened. Heidi jokingly said, "Be sure to order some sex toys that are the same size as him, so you can still have sex while he's gone." She was giggling, just making light of the fact that I would be gone and that the biggest challenge they had was the interruption in their sex life. No harm in this, right? That is until my wife says, "I don't think they make them that tiny." Yeah, guys, I went totally pale. Everyone stopped talking, and you could just feel the awkwardness in the room. I think she realized what she had said, because she tried to backpedal, but the damage was done. I just stared at her in disbelief. She just kept trying to backpedal and saying, "I'm so sorry." I just stood up and walked out. I didn't know what to say or do. I headed over to a buddy's house. I was sober, because I don't drink. I didn't tell him the story, just that we had an argument. But I feel so violated by Amy. What she said is most likely true. I am not in doubt at all. I've known this my whole life. Any guy can back me up when I say we're all conscious of our size. I'm just under 3 inches hard. I've always been insecure about it, but our sex life was never lacking, because I make up for it in other ways. She has never lacked in the orgasm department. We just get there other ways sometimes. Now here is where I feel like the asshole. I want to divorce her. I feel so violated. I feel like I can never see these friends again. I feel like all they will be thinking about when I'm around is her comment. But my asshole feeling comes in because I have also known for a long time that it is small, so I steered into the skid, I guess you could say, and am more submissive in the bedroom and enjoy it when she pokes fun at it in the bedroom. But that was just us. I just feel so violated with it now being public knowledge. But I also may have made my bed here by being okay with the dirty talk. I don't know. For those wondering, yes, she has called and texted a ton, apologizing for outing me, but I told her I needed space for a bit. Honestly, I don't even know if I'll read the replies. I just needed to vent this somewhere, and I have no one to talk to about it. My buddy just thinks we had a fight. I feel so lost. I feel like an asshole, but I just don't know if I can trust her again or feel secure enough to see any of them again. Okay. Are these grounds for divorce?